Hi! You probably clicked on this video because you received an invitation that has words on it that's telling you what you're supposed to be putting on your person for this event and you don't know what they mean, and you're hoping that some random person wearing a t-shirt on the internet could explain that to you. I'm so glad that you're here because I am that random person in a t-shirt on the internet to explain that for you. Or you are one of my regular subscribers or regular viewers who is also planning a wedding and you're like, I don't know what to tell the people to wear. They keep asking me these questions and I don't know what direction to point them in. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jamie Wolfer. I'm your online wedding planner, and I'm here to help you crack the code on all things planning a wedding. Whether you have a wedding planner or not, I'm here for you. We're gonna get this figured out. And one thing that seems to trip a ton of people up is, what do I wear? What do I tell people to wear? And then what does it mean? So if you've clicked on this in an act of sheer desperation, I hope that you will leave this video with a little bit more reassurances of what each of these terms mean for wedding dress codes. Now, this video is sponsored by one of my favorite companies in wedding attire land, and that is Generation Tux. And the reason I love Generation Tux specifically is they offer a whole variety of suits. I love different wedding looks. Like, y'all stick around for longer than a minute, and you'll probably see that I love formal, bohemian, modern, you name it. I'm pretty much obsessed with just like wedding style in general. So no matter what style you end up picking or you're being told to select, Generation Tux has a wonderful suit option for you. I actually had the opportunity to go to their warehouse. I was literally floored by the amount of options that they had available. I walked through rack after rack after rack of all these different suits and all these different sizes. So you are guaranteed to find something that will work for every single random and or obscure or normal dress code that a couple might send your way. And because we have been working with Generation Tux for years now, literally years, y'all, thanks for sticking with me on that one, especially when I botch deliveries like this. Fantastic, let's keep moving. We have hundreds of couples that have gone through our program that have used Generation Tux and have had amazing, incredible results, from the ordering process to customer service. If any issues happen to pop up, cannot recommend them enough. If you guys are interested, I'm gonna go ahead and link them right here. Check them out. And thank you again, Generation Tux, for sponsoring this week's video. Now, when we're talking about all of these dress codes, we're gonna start with the most casual, and then we're gonna work our way up to the most formal. The most formal one, most of us are not gonna see in our lifetimes, okay? Because that is like a level of bougie that like is, you know, bougie. Good. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. Okay, thank you. Let's start off with the most casual. First of all, where is this term used, right? If you are going to define the dress style for your guests, or if you're a guest and you happen to read this somewhere, you will likely have seen it or will place it on either an invitation and or your wedding website. If you are more specific about the general vibe of what you want your guests to wear, it will be in one or both of those locations. Casual attire, black tie optional, those are the kind of terms that you'll see on both of those avenues. And I do recommend offering some sort of guidance on attire in general, because I personally am a big fan of explaining those details for those who are curious, to save you from answering the same question over and over and over again. That's for the couple, not for the guests. I'm obviously speaking to two different audiences here, so if you find yourself confused, don't worry. Samesies. So if you're the wedding couple trying to figure out how to communicate this, those would be where you'd place those. What you'll also see is, as we go from the most casual to the most formal, you'll see a little bit of theming here as well. The colors will change and the overall form-fittedness will change as well. Okay, so starting off with casual, this is going to be the easiest entry point for most of your guests. And if you are a guest and you saw this on your invitation, you are in luck, my friend, because it's going to be quite simple and quite straightforward. And in this category, we have dress pants, a button-up shirt. We can do a nice flowy dress, a blouse with a skirt, a slightly dressy shoe or a sandal would be appropriate for this type of event. And you'll find that most of the attire on the casual end will be a lot of the lighter colors, a lot more of a lighter variety. You don't need something that's been custom made just to fit your body. We can be casual, we can be flowy, something that is comfortable. Why am I using the word casual to describe casual? Now, sometimes couples will pair a second word with the term casual. Beach casual, chic casual, modern casual, bohemian casual. And that's just where they're kind of getting funky with it. Okay, so if you're a guest and you receive something that says chic, bohemian, modern casual, Godspeed. interpreting that. There isn't an etiquette rule book for that necessarily, but just know if you show up in dress pants and a button up with no tie and maybe a sport coat, you should be pretty good to go. But maybe if the word bohemian's tossed in there and you feel like wearing a boho dress, that option is available to you as well. We're going flowy. We're having fun with it. This is really just about wearing something comfortable, but still being fancy enough and elevated enough to wear to someone's wedding. So we're not talking about cargo shorts and flip-flops, although some of my regular people around here are probably like, that's fine. I still have an uncle who's going to show up wearing cargo shorts and flip-flops no matter what I say. So that's great. Next step up from there would be semi-formal and or cocktail attire. These terms are almost used interchangeably. Some websites will actually separate these terms. Some of them will use them interchangeably. But basically, suit-wise, you would have a suit jacket, possibly a tie, or you can go without one to give it a slightly more laid-back look, and matching pants. So that would be more of like a cohesive suit look with some dress shoes. Or you could also do a more short dress. We're starting to look a little bit more form-fitting with this. We can go a little bit darker with some of these colors. It's less of that casual, airy, light feeling and more of like, hey, we're getting a little fancy. We're going out for drinks, maybe we're pretending like we're in Manhattan drinking martinis. I don't know. That's cocktail attire, right? In my mind, that's what I think of. I should also probably say that there are exceptions to all these rules. So if you decide to get funky with it and you decide to get funky with patterns, please feel the freedom to do that, especially as a guest if you want to express yourself through your clothing. I personally find that really fun, unless the couple has said otherwise. Then just ignore what just came out of my mouth. But like, if you have a patterned suit, do it. Wear it. I love that journey for you, unless the couple says otherwise. And then you can just blame the random lady on the internet that told you to do it. Okay. Another fantastic option would be like a pantsuit or a jumpsuit for this, where we're going a little bit more structured, we're getting a little bit fancier with it, but we're still not going over the top. Probably still get away with more wide leg loose pant, maybe a less structured top, but it's a little bit more elevated than that casual look from the first category. The next one up from there would be formal and or black tie optional. This is where the suits get dark, like in a delicious way. That's where we're looking at deep navies, blacks, dark browns potentially. We're really heading into this much more formal feel where you are wearing a suit jacket, matching pants, a tie, potentially a vest. This would not be the kind of event that you would show up without a tie or wearing a sport coat. It's a slightly more elevated look. Black tie optional also could include a tuxedo if you are getting that bougie with it, if we're getting that fancy with it. And I know sometimes the suit to tuxedo jump gets a little bit confusing. I actually did a whole interview with Liz from Generation Tux, kind of like demystifying what a lot of these mean. So I'm going to go ahead and link it right here if you do want to check that out. But there is a distinct difference, and you'll be able to see those as you're shopping on Generation Tux's website. And the biggest things that you'll notice is the lapel will look different on each of them. You'll see either a notch or a shawl lapel on the tuxedo. Sometimes it's a different texture. Tuxedos also don't have belt loops, so you will need some sort of suspender to hold them up. You're also probably going to see more cufflinks at an event like this. And definitely a dress shoe, not a business casual, but we're opting for something dark brown or black that complements the suit much better than just like a business casual shoe that you might be wearing to the office. For dresses with black tie optional or formal, we're starting to see a lot longer. Now, if you want to go for something a little bit shorter, that's fine. You can go for T-length, maybe cocktail, as long as it's not too short, right? But for the most part, formal and black tie optional does mean your dress should be touching the floor. Again, we're either going to be opting for darker colors, something a little bit more chic, a little bit more fancy, or some neutrals. Neutrals are a great option for this category if you're looking to wear a dress that may or may not include textures, maybe some patterns. If you've been encouraged to wear something colorful, have fun with it. If you have a formal dress that has color to it, again, go with that. We're not limited to darks or neutrals in this, but if you're looking for a safe space to like play in attire-wise, that's where I would go, unless something tickles your fancy just slightly outside of that, and you can kind of, again, like I said earlier, play with this if you feel so inclined, or if you have that sort of fashion direction, run with it. But I'm not here to help those that already have a deep well of fashion sense. Don't take advice from a person in a t-shirt from a city they've only been to once, okay? All right, but if you don't know what you're doing and you want a wedding planner to direct you, I'm your gal. Next step up from that is black tie. No longer optional is black tie. You're fancy, you're wearing a tuxedo. Yep, This is no longer room for dark suits. This is where we move into Tuxedoville, and we live there, and we're probably wearing a bow tie and a cummerbund. And if you don't know which direction the cummerbund is supposed to go, call it a crumberbund, so the folds go up to catch the crumbs. How do I know this? Because I did choir, and we had to wear cummerbunds for choir, and we couldn't figure out what direction they're supposed to go in. Poor little middle school Jamie had to figure that out. Call it a crumberbund. It goes up. We'll see a lot higher prevalence of cufflinks, button covers. Is that what those are called? Probably not. We're going to go with it anyways and hope for the best. When it comes to gowns, we are thinking formal evening wear. This is not a nice cocktail dress type of event. This is your dress should touch the floor. You should have a flowing skirt. It's still going to be a little bit more form-fitting, and most people are going to opt for dark colors or neutrals in this specific category. And last but most certainly not least is white tie. I don't think I'll ever go to a white tie event in my life. White tie is literally a suit jacket with tails, a white vest, potentially gloves. Somebody could show up in a top hat. And if that's like the vibe that you're operating off of, you probably already have a planner. So I may not be of service to you, but you could subscribe anyways. I'll be here regardless. But if you don't have a tux of this nature, if you don't have tails, if you don't resemble a penguin, you will not fit in there. You gotta have tails, gloves, vest, the whole kit and caboodle. You are probably wearing black, shiny, patent leather shoes. It's a very specific look for white tie. When it comes to a dress for a white tie event, we are talking gown, okay? The bride might not be the only person with a train at this event, all right? We're talking red carpet gala, if you will. I don't know which one it is. Which one is it? Well, it doesn't matter, because if you type it, I'm not going to be able to read what it is unless you type it phonetically. So that is like the upper echelon, top of the top, fanciest of fancy charity dinner that you see in the movies style attire. I saw on one website, they described it as old Hollywood glam. Just think Hollywood in the 1930s, okay? Or 40s or 50s. When is glam? What is glam? I don't know. Don't take my advice. I'm very pregnant and wearing pajama pants right now. So now, as an honorable mention, only because I saw this like a whole bunch of times, it's beach formal. I saw a lot of this. It's khakis. She sounds hideous. Khakis, linen, think flowy summer dress. It could be floor length. It could be a little bit shorter. But we are definitely opting for something that looks nicer than just spending a day on the beach, right? Beach formal is when you go on vacation and you get a slight sunburn from being in the sun, just a slight kiss of too much. And then you go back to the hotel and you shower and you put on your fancy clothes to go to like a slightly fancy restaurant. That's beach casual. Why there were so many websites that specifically pointed this out when there's really like a lot of places that have no coastline at all whatsoever, I have no idea. But it's a really good example of what you can do when someone takes a random word and smushes it in front of another word like formal. So beach formal is obviously not going to be a bikini because it's formal, but it's beachy. So if someone has rodeo formal, or Hawaii casual, good luck. So if you are a couple that is deciding on what attire you'd like for your guests, hopefully the explanations have been helpful in this video. Hopefully the pictures will help you kind of decide of what kind of vibe you would like for your event. What do you want your guests to be wearing? You might still have that uncle that's going to show up in flip-flops and cargo shorts no matter what you pick, I'm aware. You could still have those family members, or they might come to you and be like, hi, what does this mean? Send them to me. I'll explain it the best I can in this video. Send them to Generation Tux if they need to figure out which suits or tuxedos will work best for them. But it is a great idea to designate what you would like your guests to wear. And we don't need to go as specific as a color palette or a singular or several handful of colors. Most people don't do that. If you choose to, that's fine. If you're a guest and you'd like to know the color palette to either avoid matching the bridesmaids or intentionally match the bridesmaids, I don't know. It's your funeral. You can go ahead and contact the couple and ask and see what works best for them if they have not specified that so far for you. But usually you can pick up on the hint, the vibe, the color, and the style based off of the website and the invitation that you have received. But if you're not a fashion-focused Sherlock Holmes, feel free to reach out to the couple and ask. So that's what we have for this week's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully provided a little bit of clarity for you. When in doubt, always opt for a little bit dressier, right? It's always better to show up a little bit overdressed than it is to show up definitely underdressed. I'm talking to you, Uncle Sal. Leave the cargo shorts at home, bud. They've seen their time. They're done. If you like this video, jump on down there, hit that like button, and subscribe to this channel for more tips and tricks for the modern day bride or guest who doesn't know what to wear. And until next week, bye guys!